blow up. Well, it gives us a timer for 1 hour.
Mario?
Oh no, it's going up. How's that possible?
What are you streaming on, Alex?
YouTube, Twitch, and Kick.
Okay, yo.
You know, we're a bubblegum, small bubblegum compared to you, Samuels. You know, we're trying to get to your level. So
Nah. So we still trying to push over here as well.
yeah. Hey, so let me introduce real quick, everybody. This is Samuels. He's a recording artist. You guys probably heard his song "Let Us Be." You know, and I've talked to you guys a little bit about working with him, and then here at the top above you is my good friend Alex Inoke, and he lives in Las Vegas, and he knows a lot of people that you know. And below me is Lolo Tuyaki, right?
Yeah.
Lolo Tuyaki, and he lives in Missouri, up in Tongan Trent Town. I don't know what they call it. What do they call it?
Trentona.
He's neighbors to he's neighbors with Swan Breezy.
Yeah. I lived out there before in Independence.
Oh, right on.
Yup.
Nice. Yeah. How long were you Samuel?
In Independence?
Yeah.
About 2 years.
So you probably know my uncle and my cousins.
Most probably, I did go to the Flag Day that they usually do, the Independence Day.
Yeah.
It wasn't much. Like it was just a small community of Samoans, but there was like Tongans and Samoans that all came to the event. But yeah, most probably would have.
Yeah, because his name Renate and Tiffany, and my uncle's name is Semisi, but same last name, Nusila. So
okay.
Anyway, yeah. Thank you first of all for being here with us. Just to let you know, look, we're not structured anyway. We just the name of our show is Chop It Up, and we just talk. And so, if you want to introduce the music, you know, there's no pressure to go one way or the other. Feel free to like challenge any ideas that you hear from us, or offer your insights. So,
yeah, for sure.
So basically, just the boys hanging out, having a conversation. Keeping it real, keeping it live, unfiltered. So.
Love that.
Yep. Hey,
Lolo, I have a question.
What's up?
What'd you eat for dinner?
Sapasui and rice.
Dang.
Man, why you have to say that, man?
We're humble over here. We only eat the lowest stuff.
What was what kind of sapasui was it?
It was kapapulu.
Even better. My goodness.
No biggie.
Nothing special, huh?
Yeah.
Just a normal day in Trent Tonga.
I'm trying to change my background so it doesn't look like me and Alex in the same living room.
I was going to say, are you in the same room as me? What's going on here?
That's why you guys have to stage your room, go and get a light like Samuel's and get a sign and all that.
I was actually going to use my phone, but I was in when I test tried it looked terrible on my phone. So it's probably just I'm in my actual streaming room.
Right on.
Nice. What time is it over there, Sam?
It's 1:10 in the afternoon.
Wednesday, right?
Wednesday. Yep.
Nice.
Was it Tuesday for you guys? Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah. It's Tuesday night at 8 p.m.
Okay, yeah. Well, the future's looking bright on this side.
Yep, 6 o'clock over here in Vegas.
So what's going on?
They got a big TikTok event here in Vegas tomorrow. It's called the Live Fest.
The Live Fest.
A lot of streamers from around the world are out here right now.
Yeah.
I was like, man, how come I didn't get invited to this such thing called Live Fest? Man, they messed up, bro.
Because
you're
with us.
I actually meant to do that 1 year. I actually got life as creator. I came fourth in the world one time when I broke the record in Australia for
Wow.
for TikTok, and it was in London though. But I kind of went away from all that because there's a bit of toxicity in that whole realm. But it had a little sting on there on TikTok and
Mm.
stuff.
Oh, tell us about it. What
Yeah.
is the
Yeah,
toxicity that you speak of?
what's going on?
Uh, I think when I first came when I first came into TikTok, so I was I used to do a thing called CrossFit. You guys probably familiar with CrossFit, and I got into a thing called High Rocks, where I competed in the pros. I was super fit in my life. I was probably 2019. I was the most fittest I've ever been in my life, and I got injured while I was in Dubai. Um, and then I come back home, and a good friend of mine from the area, from where I stay, up for me to jump onto TikTok, and he was telling me about how they battle and stuff, and how they do a lot of dark humor, and they know a lot of them know me for that. Like we do, as poly kids, we grow up doing dark humor. Like what we joke about as well is not something that like the Balangis would like take lightly, but to us it's a joke. And so we got onto TikTok and we started doing dark humor a lot, and I was dealing with the injury during the time, so I had a lot of time in my hands, and we started like getting into these dark humor battles, and people would like we would attract so many people from the US, from Dubai, like you name it, from all over the world. Would people would be attracted to what we were doing, and without even us understanding what we were doing, I sat back at one point after I broke the record. Like I made um the highest amount of money someone could make in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK in 7 days on the app. And I started talking to the people that used to gift me and stuff. And I, I started learning about some of these people. Like they were gifting me on this app while going through their storms and stuff. And that really broke my heart in a sense where like I started looking at it in the sense of, damn, that could be my mother, that could be my father, my sister, my brother. Like it could just be someone close to me that's currently going through like mental health issues, and they find comfort at being in a place where people are like doing dark humor, and we're talking a lot of nonsense, and they found comfort in that. And I didn't like that idea anymore. Like I realized how toxic that was. Like, and I started blaming myself for it at one point as well, and started going through mental health issues with myself as well, because I started, like kind of beating myself up in the sense about like, man, how could someone like me that's experienced mental health in the past come on a platform like this, make so much money, and not understand what I was doing to people, like,
Mm.
and so that year I actually got invited to the live fest. I got creator of, like, I got the fourth best creator of the year, and I turned it down. Like everything was paid for and organized, but I turned it down. I just didn't want a part of uh something that I didn't want to participate anymore in something that I knew that was toxic, that wasn't doing anything good for people in general. Um, from my perspective of what I was doing, and that's just my opinion about what it is. Like everyone has their own opinion of what they think about TikTok, and still to this day, like I I'd get a lot of backlash if I spoke on this subject, because I have like good friends that still do it to this day and stuff, and um, but I'm a firm believer in doing right by people. You
Oh,
know, you
you're in good company when it comes to how you feel about TikTok and battling, because we all pretty much share the same idea that we feel like it's not beneficial to a lot of people, and a lot of people go broke over it.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. And you just like that's why like you probably know, Alex, like about my streams and how I'm big about like if it's not genuine, I don't want it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
um, I just been spreading a lot of awareness about like self love and the importance of when people come into my streams, they never have to give. I always make sure that I mention that during my streams because from that past experience, it's just crazy to know that some of these people that are actually doing that are actually like really needing help or just really looking for a place to feel loved or to feel accepted. And um, that's why I wanted to change the whole uh, my whole look on people that now come into my streams, because a lot of people still come to the streams and they just it's hard for them to fathom what type of person I really am, like in terms of like I'm actually a chill guy that loves talking about life and loves music. A lot of people didn't get to see that side of me because I came into TikTok as this guy that was, like doing dark humor, and a lot of people that don't know the music side, and
Right.
so people are learning like a new side of me, and I've been okay with it because there's a lot of people that come into the streams and they're like, they say it like, bro, this is so weird, like seeing me the way I am, but I've been okay with it. Like
Yeah.
I just thank God. I thank God for peace, man, and His grace, because yeah,
Well,
it's a tough one, man.
it's funny you bring that up about the battling, because the new thing now is, I don't know if you see, it's called bailouts, and it's where people act like they're in jail in a panel, and then they put a number of coins that's required for them to earn, just basically for people passing by, and then once they earn that amount of coins, then they've been bailed out, and
Yeah, well,
yeah,
yeah, I
I
haven't
don't.
seen that.
So
I've
this is
I literally have not had, like, they still get in contact with me, like TikTok management and stuff here in Australia try and get contact with me because they see like the numbers that I pull and stuff. And yeah, I just haven't, like, like paid attention to what's been going on TikTok. But
so
I
I
wouldn't be
think
surprised, man.
you're just using the platform to stream, but you don't go on there like you used to and scroll around and watch
Ye-
live.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So my TikTok, like for me, just like that's crazy how big you were. Like I knew you guys were big back in the day, like 4 or 5 years ago when Australia and New Zealand were really like taking over TikTok across the whole board, right? And so I started getting on live, and like I can relate to that story. So there was like my pops passed away in 2021, right? And so I went through this phase of depression, and there was a Tongan guy from the Bay Area that was going through the same type of deal. He had lost his wife during COVID, and then his father-in-law passed away, and then his dad passed away. So he would, by him telling his story of what he was going through, like I felt like I could relate to him, and I would just watch his videos, and it would help me through what I was going through, right? Um, I never gifted, but I was like, man, I'm grateful for someone coming to share their stories, and so because I can relate to him of the feelings that I'm going through, the loneliness. My dad passed away, and the just the depression that I was going through. Um, and it's crazy that like you said, people use it and they were watching you in dark humor, and then they were just throwing you all these gifts and coins because I mean, and in a sense of maybe they felt like you were helping them, but to you, you realize that that was like a bad thing or something that you didn't want to be a part of. You know what I mean? Like you didn't want to take money from someone that's suffering through whatever their struggles are going through. You know what I mean? And,
Right.
and that's like that's what I got from your story, and that's great that you noticed that because a lot of people like yes, the app is available to make money, and it created a lot of rich people on this app, but and you cared about other people more than yourself and more than the money that you could have kept generating and making for yourself, which is to me, which is like that's dope. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. It was. I think it was like I think it goes back as well when I found out about everything. It goes back to like, being polykids. We grow up and a lot of us in homes where we're taught about love and respect. You know what I mean? Um and that's what I felt. That's what I felt heavily was like just the teachings of my parents as well. Like, I knew 100% that this is not something that my family or like my mom and dad would would be pleased to hear of how I was making this money and why people were doing it. So like I really thank like my parents as well for just that, because like if that was something that I wasn't brought up with, like, what I mean, to uh about love and respect, I don't think I would have considered this as well, like the whole switch I did. But then at the same time, that the whole thing I was talking about mental health, I'm a real advocate for mental health, and I've lost some good brothers of mine over the years for mental health, and yeah, it was just that was another thing that really just like like resonated with me during when I found out about that stuff, because I was like, man, how can I, like I was saying, like how can I be someone who understands what mental health is, who's experienced it, who's had people, what I mean, like close people to me that have lost to mental health, and know of this and continue to do it. It's yeah, that's probably one of the main things that really resonated with me, that forced my hand to, like, well, not really forced my hand, but just made me realize like
Yeah.
how toxic it was, and um like I said, man, it's such a touchy subject for a lot of people. Like you're saying, in Australia and New Zealand, it's really like a big thing, the whole battling thing and that. And but like I promised myself, man, I was sharing this with Alex, that like like that this year, like there's gonna be a lot of things that I want to speak on a lot of my streams, and even if I jump on parties and that I'm just gonna be real open to speak with it, because I'm not getting any younger. B, I don't want the next to experience what I experience. And if I don't play my part, like Big Brother Fiji once told me, make sure you pass down the elevator. Like if I don't do that, then my purpose. I always go back to my purpose in life, and I it's me not fulfilling my purpose by telling the next and making people understand my experience and what I know. So
Yeah. So you're talking about your experience in the music industry?
yeah, yeah, yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I think just yeah, everything, bro. Like because there's a lot of things, like the music industry for me personally is just one point, but also like what you deal with outside also affects, like, I've been in the music industry since I was 17, and I'm like 37 now, and like it's there's a lot of things, like a lot of people think it's just being in the music industry, but it's also what's outside, what you do outside of it, that kind of like plays a massive part too,
Yeah.
and how things pan out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, I can't imagine because I just came across this video earlier, right? There's a lady, she's married to, I don't know her husband's name, but he's a musician in Hawaii, right? And she controls the social media. She's like his manager. And she made a video because the people that follow her, she always posts videos of her and her husband on her personal page, and then she'll post her husband stuff. And she got upset because people that follow her on her page with her husband, um, they the same people that follow her husband don't follow their personal page of them together. So she was looking at it like there's women and even men in like in his DMs like trying to like talk to him, and then she's like, "Man, this is crazy. Like people, no matter what, even though that people know that you're married or you're in a situation, that's one of the things that a musician has to deal with, right? One of the as far as fans go, right? And then you got all the other, studio time, all that other stuff you got to deal with. But I was just listening, and I'm like, man, for me, if my wife was a musician, or if I was a musician, I wouldn't want my wife to be my manager and be on my social media, just because of the fact that we cannot never control other people. We can only control ourselves. So
Right.
I cannot, I don't know who is going to message me or who's going to send a DM, and who's going to comment, right? And so those types of things, like I feel like someone else should do the job. And but she was like just venting about that because that's how they have their situation. And I was like, man, I probably you'd probably be better off if you weren't the manager and didn't have to see that. Because
Yeah.
if your marriage is good and you guys are happy, you shouldn't have to see those types of things. Then it could cause issues,
Right.
in my opinion.
Amen to that, brother. I couldn't agree more, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
and I remember us talking a little bit, Sam, about some of the hardships and I won't go into details, but you had with other artists and stuff, and I think it. I almost feel grateful for you that you had your parents and your father because it sounds like they've been a big they've been like the solid lighthouse in your life to kind of keep you, you know, grounded and remind you, hey, this is where you come from, and no matter how somebody treats you, you're always going to have these beautiful people who love you, and I think that's one of the best things we can offer to everyone who's going through some kind of like mental, issue or crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%, bro. Like I was saying earlier, I'm real big on one thing that dad's always bestowed in us, me and my siblings, was always do right by people no matter what. And I've lived by that for forever, man. And you know, living by that also has caused me a lot of hardships, a lot of a lot of drama, as they would say, or yeah, just a lot of difficulties in the music industry itself, and just the whole concept of learning to turn the other cheek um, and still do right even when it hurts. And yeah, that's yeah, definitely my parents have been like what I really loved about my family though is like there was a lot of um, at the beginning, when I told them about the whole music thingy and how I was getting the opportunity to move over to the US, and who was taking me on board and stuff. And, there was a lot of difficulty in them believing in that because it was the first time um, someone in the family had actually done something different rather than go work a 9 to 5. And, you know, it took some convincing to do for mom and dad, especially um, because this is 17-year-old leaving home and they're not sure of how my safety, and a lot of things come into play. And um, when I did leave and stuff, and managed to convince mom and dad when they started seeing everything happening, and I just thank God for them, because like what I loved about my family was just they never got involved. They just always like supported from afar, and just um my brothers would always message me and just like send me like messages of just like, man, like we know we didn't believe in you before, but we want you to know that we believe in you, man, and we support everything you're doing right now. We're so proud of you. And those little things were what kept me going when talking back when going back to what we're saying about like learning to turn the other cheek, in the industry when things happen, and applying what dad had taught us when we were young to always do right by people no matter what. And I just thank my family and my parents and my siblings. Like they never got involved with what I was doing, but just always loved me from afar, and just always supported me. And credit to them, man, because it's really what kept me going. Like you're saying, Alex, like it really was the the rock hold of everything that I was doing. Even when I had where a lot of the music was inspired from like a bad relationship I had. Going back to what also Nokia was talking about, when you have a partner that tries to get involved and or be a manager, and I went through this bad breakup, bro. And even at that, bro, like my family was still like loving me from a distance, where they let me do my thing, sort of thinking. But um, yeah, grateful for that.
Yeah, I can imagine it probably was a tough time when you because you probably went through a period where you felt like you didn't have the full support of your family because you know they're trying to be careful and they want the best from you, but you know they don't see the dream that you have, or they don't see you know the they don't see what you see for yourself. But it's great that now you look back and you're like, I'm glad I have their
Right.
support now. Is that what you went through? Where there was a period where you
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
felt like,
100%. 100%. I see. I should be mad at the world about it, because bro, I used to think I like I'd be doing some of these big ass shows, man, right? Like be on the stage with some of the biggest names, right? And then like they still didn't believe, like, you know what I mean? Like, and like I said, it took a bit of convincing, but um I think the main thing back then for me was like, man, these are my people, like my actual family, and these are the people that I don't care if no one else believes in me, but um they're the ones that I want to really believe in me. But then, like, I understood, bro, too. Like, there's a saying that goes like, you can't expect people to know what your vision is when it's yours. You know what I mean? You
Right.
just got to show up and show out, and if it's meant to be, God will let it happen. And that's why you can't expect people to understand what your goals and the importance. The importance of that too is not telling everyone what you're doing and stuff, because sometimes, you know what I mean, not everyone's not everyone's clapping for you, man, and not everyone's cheering and wanting to see you grow. So
Yeah, and
understanding that.
a lot of people just want to know your information to kind of like uh almost act like like discredit it or bring it down or make it look like, what does this guy think he's doing? That's what happens
Right.
a lot of
Yeah.
times.
And it still is, man. Like, I don't know in the States, because it's, the States is a lot bigger place, but in a place like Australia and New Zealand, it's such a small place where, like, tall poppy syndrome is such a big thing, bro. It's like, it's a known fact over here. And I think, like, over the years, like, I've kind of, like, I think just recently, bro, like over the years leading up to like the last 2 years, I've mastered like the art of just, like, you know what I mean? Like, just not caring for what people
Right.
say, because I really believe that when you do something good, people will judge you. When you do something bad, people will judge you. So either way, whatever way you choose to move, people are gonna judge you. So it's, the choice after that is yours. Like, whether you're gonna care or not. So
Yeah.
So I have a question as far as music. What do you see the state of like island reggae, island artists, Polynesian artists? What do you see the state of music in today as of 2026? Like, do you see it? Do you see it thriving more than it was last year? Do you see it kind of leveling out because of AI? Like, what are your personal thoughts on the whole music as a whole for Polynesian people?
um yeah, I seen a few chats about AI recently as well, coming in effect and all that. And for me, where I see the music industry, my opinion is it's leveled right now. Since Big Brother Feature's gone, man, it's been leveled, and it's so hard. And I think, like, a lot of us is, we're still trying to get over that, like, like, accept that Big Bro's gone, and he's kind of been the person that's carried this for for years, man. And um I think we're just at a point where everyone's kind of lost in a sense, and everyone's just putting out music, but nothing's really making sense of them, if that even makes sense. So with the AI thing coming in effect, I found that a lot of people now um, are either like bagging it out or actually realizing the benefits of AI, which I find beneficial. Because as I was speaking with Alex, I was like, a lot of people try and knock the whole AI thing, and obviously they see, like, the big names in the studio, like Chris Brown, Ariana Grande, they all using this tool, in the AI tool in studio. And for me personally, I feel like, my opinion is that if you're using AI as a tool where you can, like, if you're writing your own music and you're making AI voice it to your liking, because you're not someone that knows how to play instruments, or you don't have the funding to pay someone to create the music for you, and you're just starting off, then you can't knock it. Like, it's a tool at the end of the day, where it allows people that don't have the funding, or don't have access to people to create this, like, music that they're trying to create. Um, where I feel like it's a like, where it's not a good thing, is where people literally rely on AI on itself to create something that's
Mm.
unauthentic.
Yeah.
And that's why, because also myself, I've been like, I've got riddens that I've got a catalog of 1,400 plus songs, and recently I've been writing for a lot of artists. So I've been sampling a lot of my stuff through AI, where I'm prompting AI to sing it the way I want it. Like, I'm literally writing a full breakdown of how it. So I know personally from using it on how easy and how difficult it could be to use the tool, depending on how you want to go about it. Obviously, if you're prompting it to do, if you're getting AI to prompt something that is just like basic, then it's gonna turn out basic and it's gonna not sound as great as someone who actually takes the time. Like for instance, Alex, who came into my stream and he showed me something, and I was like, wow, how the heck did he like create something like that? And then like spending a bit of time with Alex, he showed me, and I just like realized how talented he is, man. And like people still trying to knock like people using AI without an understanding of how it works and stuff. So a lot of the people in the island music, like the island music industry, or people who are doing island reggae or whatever it is, I've been seeing a lot of hate along, you know, the whole thing with AI and stuff. But for me, like I'm ready for that conversation too, like with anyone that wants to speak on, because like I've used the tool and I have a full understanding of how it works and how it operates, and it's not as easy as people make it sound like.
Yeah. It's a progression because if you think about it, it's just a progression of instruments and tools in today's age.
Right.
At one point when the electric guitar first came on, they thought, oh, somebody's going to die from the electricity, and then auto tunes came up and they made fun of T-Pain for a while, and now he's one of the greatest singers and songwriters of all time. But so it's just kind of like it's the progression of our tools that we use to make music.
He's not T-Pain anymore. He's Theodore.
Oh, my bad.
I gotta get it right, bro. His name is Theodore, dude. Sheesh.
We don't know him personally like you, so
No, I don't know. I just watched the video today, and his name is Theodore. Like that's what he goes by now. So I literally just figured that out today.
Hey, real quick connection, Sammy. So I've been coming on your streams and you've been playing my music and I really appreciate it. But another great song that we heard that we love is from a songwriter called Baby J, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so the guy beneath me, that's Baby J's Bishop. So
this guy, bro, come on,
Really?
dude.
they go to church together, so like they see each other every day, and they drink kava.
Hey,
but
that's one talented brother too, man. He's always been surprising me, bro. Every time he sent through something,
that first like that broom song, like the salsa song, that was crazy, man.
Yeah, we just got done with that song too, like last week. Me and Bucko.
Oh, nice.
And stuff, yeah. But yeah, man, he's talented, bro. Shout out Baby J, man. He's talented, bro. And it was cool. Like the cool thing was when I started the stream, like a lot of the people that were coming in was just from New Zealand and Australia, and like let's just know, like, thank to anyone that's been coming in streams, but it was just like, man, wait until the Americans come in, bro. Like I kept saying that to myself, like low key, I kept saying like, wait till the Americans come in. So when you and Baby J came in, like me and Ads and Soulless, we were like, told you. We told you, man. Once the Americans into the chat, bro, the police from America into the chat, it's game over. But yeah, bro, yeah, man. It was like you guys are probably like the only Americans too that come in the chat besides Kitty.
Lolo is like his ghostwriter for Baby J, huh? Hello.
Shut your mouth, dude. Come on.
Well, sorry, bro. Hey. Come on, man.
Hey, man.
Tell us.
This whole time I was taken off guard as to Sammy, and I was looking into my computer like, oh snap, I wasn't prepared. And then when you started coming out on the story, you went right into the deep of your history and the old videos. And do you have any of those videos that you're talking about as far as the dark humor still online?
I think that people, it's still surfacing, bro. There's a lot of those videos still surfacing, like, yeah. And to be honest, I find it so hard to watch, man, because like, bro, it's such a tough one to watch, because like when I look back at it, and my initial thought straight away is the conversations I had with a lot of these big gifters, right? And it just automatically just like it just hurts me. It hurts me.
The thing that I'm confused on is if it helped them, why didn't you keep? I'm thinking, why did you keep doing it if it was helping them? And then
right,
set down a disclaimer like, hey, we're just having fun and we're not, but we do understand. You know how like on the old
right.
TV shows they have a show about something, but they come out with a disclaimer before the show saying, we know how sensitive the subject is. It is all just.
I think it was more so like understanding, like for someone like I was saying earlier about who's been through mental health issues, you know what I mean? And I remember I'll share with you guys. I remember one time while I was going through one of my storms, and I used to like watch videos and try and find something that resonated with me to make me feel good, right? And I would watch videos, right? That like because I enjoy documentary, I would watch like certain videos. It could be from just like Kevin Hart or something, and then I have a little moment about it, like laughing at. But it's when that moment's done. It's when that moment's done that matters the most because you come back,
Mm,
that moment's gone, and then you're fighting your demons again, right? And you're fighting it now without that thought. And the fact that like I knew what it was like to be in that position where you're just looking for a place to feel accepted or feel like you can smile a bit. And to be honest, it's not a place I want anyone to find happiness or find comfort in, because that's why. Because when that's all said and done, like I could only imagine what these people will do when they're like gifting and they're having a laugh and they gift and then they jump off the app and then they still got to go battle their demons. Which if
mm,
I was doing something that I'm doing right now where people come in, they not only feel accepted and loved in a place, but also they go away and actually say to themselves like, man, I I've actually been inspired by being in that life. I've actually want to do better for myself. Instead of leaving and actually having to fight those thoughts again of like feeling worthless and not feeling like good enough, you know what I mean? And that's why bro, that's why I literally
okay.
pulled on
That's
it. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
No,
no,
I get
that
it.
makes sense.
It's kind of like kidding, not kidding. I'm just playing, but I'm not playing type. You know,
Right.
it is a funny little incident, but in all reality, when the camera's off, dang, dude, it really does hurt though. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I'm
Yeah.
about the dark humor too. Like, I enjoy, it too, but
Yeah.
I had
Oh, I
no,
still do it. I still do it to
right.
this day. Like me and my brothers, like we still like, but I feel like for me it's like I have a platform and a massive following and time and place, for me, and the
Okay.
importance of realizing like what I could use my platform for. And like I said, I still do it. I still get into the dark humor with my bros and that. And but for me, I like to keep it here, like like and not like have to put it out into the world where like I just never know who comes into my stream that's just
Right.
needing, a bit of help. And yeah.
Yeah, to me, it sounds
Right on.
like you don't want to lose your soul, to the virality of what TikTok or what because TikTok has this. TikTok's really smart. They have this like this sub platform in the battles, and then they create this thing where people think, oh, it's so cool to battle, but really the only individual that wins is TikTok because they get the
Right.
money and everyone's throwing money back and forth, but it loses value as they throw it. And
Yep.
it's like a casino almost. Everyone's getting these endorphins and they're all feeling great about sharing coins and making somebody win, but
Yep.
they're just sitting there just raking in the money. And so it's great that you saw that and you're able to kind of like pause.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sammy,
You know.
so is this you? I'm looking on online on YouTube. Is this you? The "Let Us Be" song and
Yeah. Yep.
"Lie Under." That's
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. That's me. Yep.
Oh, and then you said you went through a phase of training and working out, and because you look
Yeah.
different. I'm
Yeah.
looking at you now.
Yeah. I went away from the music. Like I actually had my first release in 6 years tomorrow. Like where I'm
Mm,
reintroducing myself into the scene and working on this album as well, where I kind of explain because everyone's just been asking like where I've been and like I just randomly popped up again and everyone's just
right.
anticipating my return and stuff. So yeah, in
Damn.
this And in this album, like, I'm gonna be talking a lot. Like a lot of the songs, Alex has heard a lot of the stuff that I'll be putting on, like on my originals, and it's talking about a lot of why I went missing and why I did what I did, and it's gonna be really like it's gonna resonate with a lot of people, man. That feel like they don't have a voice to speak, and even people in the industry, like some of my music peers. Like I haven't played this to some of them, and like I know it's just gonna hit differently. But when I went away from that time, I went through a phase where I was like, I got into fitness. I played rugby basically like half of my life, and I come from a boxing family, so I also teach boxing and do boxing. So um, I wanted to kind of go back to that. When I left music, I was like, I had to kind of find obviously something to do when I walked away from it, and here we are, bro. Like coming back after 6 years and trying to
Nice.
Right on, right on. Yeah, I'm looking at the videos, and hey, it's an honor because I wasn't really locked in on who you were looking
Oh
at
no,
your
it's
video, but
cool.
looking at you here, and I'm like, oh, this guy's been on our playlist or my kids' playlist, and I didn't even know that was you, bro.
I
See, yo,
You
appreciate
were
it,
you,
grind
bro.
you were
him, grind
yeah,
him.
you were
Yeah.
big handsome Polly on the videos, but you're
Yeah,
CrossFit Polly here right now. Right on, dude. It's an honor, bro.
yeah, smooth
Oh,
journey.
Uma, Mohaki. Wow.
Let's give a high five from the down under.
Hey, man.
No,
Right on.
so listen, like, I feel like poly artists separate themselves from most all the other artists, right? Like majority of the poly artists are down to earth, and if you want to talk to them in public, they'll talk to you, and they'll. I haven't come across a poly artist that's like, oh no, I'm too busy, or you, I don't have time, or whatever the case may be, right? Do you see that as something that's different between our poly artists and like the more like let's just say Chris Brown and those bigger or like those guys that are in America and stuff?
Bro, you're gonna
Yeah,
make him be honest. What if he has the negative views on some of these guys?
Well, it is what it is, bro. This is what we're
Spill the
talking
tea
about.
right now. Spill the tea right now. All right.
This
no,
is
100%,
we're
bro.
here to
Like,
chop it up.
yeah, I like I've like yeah, I've never witnessed any of the poly artists like be like that and stuff. And I think it goes back to like what I was saying earlier about how we've been brought up as polys, like just love and respect. And sometimes like I'll talk on this as well because I think it's important that I probably will get backlash about talking about what I'm about to say, but as polys, we grow up being taught how to serve, and I think I shared this with Alex in
Yeah.
the past, where you know we're, we're brought up to serve, and I think over time we kind of misinterpret or like change that a bit, where like we've learned to serve to please rather than serve to serve, and yeah, and I feel like sometimes we get caught up in that, like that whole thing about serving and serving for the sake of serving people and for the right reasons rather than serving to please others. And in my personal opinion, it's happening a lot, and just not only just in the music industry, but in churches and like in so many areas, where us Polynesians are involved and stuff. And um, going back to that, what you're saying was like saying when seeing other polys do they like thing. I feel like that's one of the great aspects that we still have as polys that you see through a lot of the poly artists, where they always have time for people. And then for me sometimes I see it like from seeing it from a young age till now, like sometimes I feel like it's they're doing it to please others rather than like if they know that like it's gonna cost them the time or whatever it is that they're going through at that time, where someone runs into you and be like, hey, um trying to start a convo with you, and is it all right if I get my family to take photos? Because I've also experienced that multiple times, and sometimes you can get caught up and be like, oh, if I don't do it, then these guys are gonna talk bad about me, or they're gonna. And these are conversations that I know a lot of the poly artists don't like to have, and
Mm.
yeah. So what I'm saying is, it's sometimes it's okay to say no. It's okay to you don't have to serve to please others, but rather serve for serving. And but you got to make them understand why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't just
Yeah.
be like, no, and just walk
Yeah.
away. You gotta be like, hey, look, sorry, I just gotta be somewhere. But if you want to take a photo, I'll take a quick photo of you. But I gotta bounce
Yeah.
because I got my kids or my wife in the car or whatever it is. But yeah, just going on that topic of serving, like, yeah, I think it's important. I think it's important to understand uh, serving people and serving to please, because yeah, we over the years I felt like especially like watching in the music industry, like we've kind of drifted drifted a bit away from that of just serving people for, and I feel like it's more genuine too, and authentic, doing like serving people for the fact that you want to serve people
Yeah.
rather than serving people because you want to please them. And other things start coming into place when you start serving to please people.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first to put my hand up and say, like, yeah, I've been someone that's that served to please people, and then started experiencing a whole lot of stuff while doing that. And yeah.
Yeah. I remember telling you this story one time. I don't know if I was really specific about the details, but I've been a bass player for almost my whole life, and there's a couple of or there's a band that wanted me to come play for them. They knew I played bass for a long time, and
Hmm.
they'd been calling me for a while. And I drove like for a couple hours, got there, and it was up in like a ski resort. And I got there and I walked up and I had everything ready to go. And they said, "Oh, I was trying to get a hold of you, but we got this other bass player. So, you know, um, hang out." And I thought to myself, wow, it's, it's almost like demoralizing that they kind of treat people like you're saying, who want to be a part of, the music industry and want to just show their talents. But then some people take advantage of that. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but, I've experienced that quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah,
feel you, man, because I used to play the bass too. I played the bass for a reggae band, but I was never second string, though. So that's the only thing I don't understand about it.
first choice, huh?
Hey,
First choice.
I was
First
on
no,
first
but I
string.
feel
The
like
coach called me. Hey, coach. Yep, he called me in. You're in the game.
but I feel like I feel like that's anything with Polynesians, right? It's the trait that we've been taught our whole life and raised, and how our parents were like, and even in not even in music industry, just in regular life and in business, right? And I feel like the problem is we can't separate that wanting to do service from the business part of things. We
Right.
always try to keep it together, and you can't. When you having a business, you got to separate the business from your actual way you are raised and feel. You got to separate the two, from personal and business, and you have to do, if it's personal, do personal, and then you can serve people however you want. And then if it's business, you have to separate that service from having a mindset of a business person,
You know
because
why
there
I
are
would have a hard time doing that is because I understand that when people roll up for a photo, that they appreciate you for something, for a role you played in their life. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy. I would have a hard time, like, hey, I can't do it right now, and I'm with, you know. So
Yeah.
I
No, no,
get
I'm talking
the
about the service. It's the service part, like how like for example, my dad did construction in Alaska, and he helped a lot of people. And no matter how bad they did him, he kept wanting to serve them, and because that's how he was raised, and that was what it was instilled. He wanted
Yeah.
to serve them no matter what, right? And he finally realized in his older age, like, you have to be able to separate that personal life from your business, or it's going to drag you
Mm,
down, right? And so when he
yeah.
did that, he was able to realize, okay, we have separate business and separate life, and I have to do business for business, because I can't keep dragging myself down into being in debt. And like my dad would let people use his insurance and license number, and then they would do a bad job, and then it falls back on him. And he would still
Right.
love them. He would still welcome them into helping them and work and give them money and whatever. That's the type of things that we all go through in our life. And like, we're all the same, right? We always want to serve people no matter what, but we have to come to that crossroad where we separate the two. Whether it's
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
it's business, it's got to be business, and when it's
Yeah.
service, it's got to be service, and it's got to be service
Mm,
for the right reason, because then
Yeah.
people start taking advantage of you.
absolutely, bro. And that's why I was saying as well, like, normalizing like it's we need to normalize like that whole service part of like pleasing people and serving for serving people and when you normalize that, it's normalizing the no's, the time to say no, and where to draw the line. And like it's funny that you say that, bro, because like that's like you saying all that about dad is like me hearing like someone tell me about my mom. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
we've watched mom do that like her whole life, and it's funny. Like my second eldest sister, she kind of like became that like what mama. She became a reflection of what mama was doing. And there's a song that I wrote called "Price I Paid." And it basically speaks about that. It was a song that I wrote about myself and like the price I paid from making people happy and uh what I did to go out of my way for people, and basically all that, telling what you would do to the price that I paid to be happy. And um I wrote that about my mom and my sister too, because I felt like it was a trend. Like my mom was doing it, my sister started doing it, and then when I grew up around them, I started seeing that as well, and I felt like it was the right thing to do. And but as you grow older, you start realizing that um when if you were a lucky person to realize it, like you'll know that it wasn't the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Just like how you're saying, knowing to separate business and the personal is real important, because people would then start feeling like they would have access to you 24/7, and that
Oh,
you would do anything for them 24/7. And that's just not how life is. Like you look at successful businesses, like successful like business owners, and that like that's not how it operates. But the way we've been conditioned and taught is like, oh man, my bro has a food store. Let me just go get some free groceries just because it's my bro. You know what I mean? Like I I uh I think it was the last three years I started realizing like, man, that's how am I supporting my bros
yeah.
if if I'm just going there to get something for free. Like supporting is actually buying something and
Oh,
actually
yeah.
telling people about it. And I think I've been like Alex, you've seen that. I've been big on you know uh bringing awareness to that on my streams as well, because like even just the hat that I'm wearing right now is one of my bros, and I used to always just buy from him. And then just recently, like he told me to stop. He told me to stop because he wanted to sponsor me, because now he's in a position to be able to do that, and I'm grateful for that. But yeah, like we have those conversations. Me and Gussie have this conversation about like, because he used to be like, why are you doing this, bro? I'm like, am I really supporting you if I'm just asking you for free things, bro?
Right. Right.
Or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I was like I told you before. Every time I told you my brother-in-law is Jerry. I mean J Bug, and when we go to Jerry's shows, I always pay. We like to sit in VIP, and I pay full price. And a lot of people are like, "Well, isn't he your brother-in-law? Shouldn't you get it for free?" And I was like, I think that's backwards. I think we as family should be supporting our family and our friends more than a total stranger. And some people disagree with me, but that's just that's how I think it should be. You know what I mean?
right, yo. Again, bro, like that's why I'm so thankful for my siblings, my family. Like, I don't think there's ever a time, bro, where I've done like shows and like I'd always like make sure that I have like them on my guest list and stuff, and make sure that they get the treatment that I get while I'm on, like if I'm in town and stuff. But they've always gone and brought tickets and stuff as well, and it annoys me sometimes. Like there's been times where I've been angry about it, but when I look back at it, I realize like, man, that's how you know your people, your actual
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Like they would do that without even telling you. You know what I mean? They don't need to be told. Like they just automatically know that if I actually say I love you and I support you, then this is what it is. Like and they'll go buy tickets. And yeah, but grateful
So you
for
know,
for,
Carver
for
University,
family.
he was the bass player for. I don't know if you remember this Tongan group called the Missionaries. He was part of that group. So every time they would play, I will always hit him up and ask for free tickets because you know that's what we the brothers do, right, Laurel?
Yeah, but I had to buy my own tickets to go play.
Mm.
I think I've gone through phases like that too, man. For a lot of people don't know, I used to be a hip hop dancer too. So when I used to go to like dance comps and that, man, I was the king of that. Like asking people like, "Oh, so you reckon you can
Yeah.
get me three, four tickets?"
But
Yeah.
it's sad if you think of the realm of things, right? If you think of it about it, right, business wise, you're an artist. You got to go to do a show. Your show you're making money based on tickets sold, right? Also, okay. So, like for example, um, I do clothing. I used to have a clothing brand. I haven't done it for a while, but I'm thinking of bringing it back. But I still do custom clothing here and there. And then everybody would always be like, "Hey man, you got something? Can I have that? Can you have that?" And I'm like, man, I'm not in the business of giving things away for free. How am I supposed to support my family and put food on the table and pay
Right,
my bills if I'm always giving stuff for free? You know, and then they would be like, "Oh man, damn, you're not my toco then, or you're not my fat." I mean, I'm like, bro, like, but you spend $180 on some Jordans at Nike, you know what I mean? But you can't purchase a $20 shirt from me to support my family and something that I'm doing. That's what I could
yo,
never make sense of, right? It's like you'll go support these big brands and buy a $4,000 Louis Vuitton purse or whatever the case may be, but you can't support a friend or a family member that is trying to do something better for themselves and their family. Like
right,
that mindset and mentality
Yeah,
is backwards.
yeah,
yeah,
You know, it's like, come on, man.
yeah.
But you spend $200 on fast food every week. But the one time I have a pop up, you can't spend the $25 for
Yeah, but
the
hey,
t-shirt.
I'm gonna wear your gear everywhere as
Well, that's
advertisement,
what
so
everyone
you
says,
should
right? An
be able to, you know what I
advertisement,
mean? I'm
but
promoting you for free.
You're the
You know
yeah,
what
king.
I'm saying? And I get everywhere, so I'm
You're
hooking
the
yeah,
you
king
and
of
up.
that's the
Leah
excuse,
clothing,
right?
right?
So how many people have bought a Utah shirt because you're wearing that Utah shirt? Tell
Hey
me,
man, I got this for free.
Hey, take it off already.
okay, you know, it's
I ain't
like,
gonna lie. No, but it isn't until you get on the other side of that that you realize, oh, like I'm sure once I become successful at something, I'll be like, oh, okay. Well, I was asking for all the free stuff, but now that I'm on the other side where I have to provide something, I'm like, oh, all right.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you guys are saying.
But you know, I
yeah,
think this I don't mean to this is a great topic thread. I don't mean to break it, but I don't want to glance over the fact that our podcast here is going to be introducing our it's going to be helping Sammy as he brings in his new release tomorrow, right?
Yeah, yeah. Tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, dude, introduce that. Let's see what's up with that.
This will be showing tomorrow, so I don't know if you want to give a snippet or whatever we can do to for the whole 12 people who are going to see this.
Wait, how do I share a? Oh, I can just play the music and it'll play through here, right?
Yeah, we could.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll hear it. Yeah.
Yep. Let me bring it up. Yes, I got a new music video and a singles releasing tomorrow. Um, it's called True Love. It's a song that I've held on to as well. Like a lot of the songs that I've released in this album is like from 6, 7 years ago. Like I said, like when I was in a dark place, and I found that when I was in a dark place, man, like when I was going through a storm in my life, I was writing more than ever. And this song called True Love was actually written based on my elder sister, Janet, and yeah, she only just recently found out about it, and it was actually this whole comeback. I didn't even know that this year was their 30th year anniversary and stuff, and it was just
Yeah.
like the timing, man, like it's been just perfect, and yeah, basically it's just my being the youngest in the family, I second youngest in the family. We grew up seeing my sister. She was the first one to get married out of the family, and or the first person that we saw actually had a boyfriend at the time, and it was a bit weird to us.
Yeah.
We
Like,
kind of watched,
ooh.
yeah, like who's this guy? Like, you know what I mean? Like we see Ernest, her husband, and we're like, man, like why is this guy always around? Like we knew why he was around, but we just like we're finding it hard to accept the fact that my sister was like spending more time now with him rather than us. And so when she got married off and stuff, and I kind of the song was written from basically Ernest's perspective. And when I was going through the storm, I actually watched on my siblings, and I wrote like a whole album about my siblings, and this was one of the songs, and the song basically just talks about like what I saw in my brother-in-law, um, and in 30 years being together is a real testament of like true love. So um, we've done seeing them go through the ups and downs, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited to share
Hey,
that with the world.
Sammy, what is the as far as what started the storm and what created or what pushed on or prolonged the storm? What is it for those who are either trying to understand it or are going through it themselves? What you mean by storm?
So we know I was like I was saying, I went through a big breakup after close to 14 years, and then um, from from being in a place where like everything was normal to now relearning how to do life without someone that you spent like almost half your life with, and just like end in a place where like there was a lot of confusion about why, and that's why I'm big on what bro was talking about having your partner involved when in the industry and stuff, and they get to see stuff that they shouldn't be seeing or they don't deserve to see. And um yeah, it's like I'm not gonna come on here and blame her purely for everything that happened and whatnot, but I will say that like um it's important to it's important to know who your people are. It really is important to know your people, because sometimes you can be doing something and be successful in it that you forget who your people are. And uh, I'm not gonna come on here and say that like she did me wrong or everything was wrong. And I'll be honest and say that like I think I yeah, I really forgot like who my people was at one point, like who really rocked with me and was important to me. And things started getting rocky and stuff, and then yeah, went through this whole breakup, and then that's where a lot of the music has been inspired from that I'm about to release. And a lot of people have talked and asked me in the past about like Let Us Be and all the other love songs that I've written in the past and what it was about. And I used to always just push the feeling off and just be like, oh, it was about so and so, or it was about me knowing of what people would go through. And like I would always try and like wing it off, but I think it's important, like part of healing through these years have been being vocal and being honest about my emotions and what I've been writing about and who it's been about and the stories that it's telling, because it's important, because it there's someone out there, like I was saying, that would relate to this, or just needed it to hear that someone else has experienced what they've experienced. And that's what the music has been about for me, is just in hopes to help someone else that's going through this storm themselves, especially something that I've gone through, and they
Mm.
could hear it through my music.
What's the
Man,
name of
we're
the song?
glad you made it through, man.
What's the name of the
Yeah,
song?
man. This song's called True Love.
True Love. Right, everybody here on the
Oh,
Chop It Up podcast, we're gonna have the opportunity to listen to the one and only Samuel's introduce his song True Love.
let me just. Yes. Uh,
You can play the whole thing. You can play a snippet. It's up to you, brother. Whatever you
I'm gonna
feel
play the whole
comfortable.
thing for you,
There
boys.
you go. There you go. Straight
Marty,
away.
the
I want the whole
pre-release
thing
before
straight
the
away.
release.
Yeah,
Huh? Straight
You
away,
guys can hear
yeah?
that?
straight away.
You guys can hear that?
No.
Oh
No.
no. Okay. There's probably a way that I have to something that I have to.
So why are you wearing a Utah Utes shirt there, Coach?
My brother coached there. I have a Utah State, Oregon State, BYU. I've
So he
got
just
all the
his
coaching
brother just gives
gear.
him the extra gear that he has for him.
You know, I make sure that he brings me my size too, so that I look official.
Nice, nice.
Okay.
He
It
kind of
says
sends you
that
the
I'm
file and you
sharing.
can bring it up.
Yeah, we could do that. Send
Oh
it
yeah.
to
Stage his file.
send it to
Okay.
Inoke.
You know the
Alex, I just sent it to you. If you want to just you can just forward it through.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna set up my my speaker real quick. Give me 1 second. All right. Try to be cool like you guys.
You
Give
guys
me a
can
second.
see my share screen, right?
No.
No.
Uh,
Oh, I see it down here. You want me to add it to the stage?
yeah, yeah. If you can, because
There
then
you
I'll
go.
be able.
There
Oh
you
yeah.
go.
Yep, there you go.
All right.
There it is.
Center
I,
stage.
all right. You guys hear that?
Can we turn it up a little bit? Let's see.
I
Trying to
hear
figure because
something, but it's very, very like
yeah.
faint.
Nuh-uh. It's not staged onto the main frame.
Let me see.
So Alex is gonna have to upload it into the matrix.
Yeah. You know, can you have yourself set up? Because I could send it to you.
No, no, I'm just on my phone, bro.
All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second.
Man, Sammy, we're glad you made it through the storm and you were able to come out and be able to articulate through your gift, whatever it is that you went through to help people. Just like you're saying, it is a service once you come out of stuff like this for you to share and get people through it. Because I mean, we've got a lot of life to live, so we're just glad that you made it through and are able to come out and share through your gift, brother. Thank you for stopping by, man.
And what's the
Thank
what
you,
was
man.
the if I can ask, what was the what did you write? I'm ready. What was the story behind that? That's my favorite song of yours.
I'm ready. Yeah, so I'm ready was a time where I was like I was ready to propose. Like I was going through that. Like and I was
Mm.
yeah and I actually didn't like know that the song was gonna take off the way it's taken off, but I seen a lot of people using it for even though I didn't get to use it in that sense of like when proposing, but I see a lot of people using it for like proposals and stuff. But yeah, that's where it was inspired from, bro. Like from a time and where I was ready to take the next step in that, and obviously like things didn't pan out the way it was, but yeah.
Man,
Nice.
right on.
Give me a second. Let me set this speaker up real quick.
So me and my boy, we have a YouTube page that we
Yep.
started like 15 years ago, and we would just get people's music, new music, and then we would just put our own graphics on it and then post the song online just to like help people get help the
Right.
poly artists like get out. Um, it's called a Tough Rasa. Um, but it's funny because I posted a song like a bunch of K Nova songs on there before, and then when because K Nova was part of the Mix It Till the Sun Comes Up with the Tunes 94 Tunes, that
Yep.
song that came out, but they didn't release K Nova's part or the part with K Nova in it. They did it and released it on their own. But I had the song that was from K Nova and I posted it, and it had like hundreds of thousands of views in like 3 days. So
Right.
I don't know if it was him, but somebody from his team hit me up and was like, "Hey, take down our music, this, that, and the other is whatever. We're
Yeah,
gonna
it's
record
going crazy now. The whole
We're gonna
publishing thing, like it's they're really cracking down on so I'm having like a whole thing at the moment with Let Us Be where like we're finding out like so many things that in the past before I had my current publishers where people were doing things behind the scenes with the song and I didn't know about it, being a young and back in the day and coming up I was just happy for music to be out there, but then there's been videos like the original person that I did the music video with. The video would have been right now probably like 70 to 80 mil views, but they had to take that down because they found out that he was making money off the YouTube video since 2014 till last year, 2024. So there's a whole court case going on about that as well because there was nothing I signed prior to him doing that. I literally just gave it to him and they're going off based off like saying that because of his histories of videos, he knew what he was doing prior to like getting the music video, so he should have educated me and whatnot. And um but yeah, they really cracking down on that, like just anything to do with music that's actually like, especially if they have publishers, like if artists have publishers, the copyright. I mean, even with AI, they're like really cracking down on that too, of using certain people's sounds and that on AI.
All right. I think I'm ready. Let me give it a little test to this. See if it you guys hear it. Try to keep it not too loud. So that it? Can you hear it or?
Yep.
On the corner of Crown Street, when we first kissed and fell in love, and I knew he was for me, even though maybe disagree.
The sound isn't good on this end.
And I never loved anyone this way, my baby. I know it's true love. I know it's true love. I know it's true love when we fall in love. How's it sound? Never had to be someone else. Cause you told me what love was all about. The good times that's made us strong. I will learn from every right to wrong. I just knew that you the one for me. And you proved it in our times on me. Loving you has been the best thing I've done. Couldn't trade it for the world, my love. You're the reason I smile each day. We always know the right things to say. That's the reason I wrote this song. Cause you reminded me where we found love. Sorry, on the corner of Crown Street. When we first kissed and found in love, and I knew it was for me. Even though many disagree, you still stuck by me. And I never loved anyone this way, my baby. I know it's true love. I can hear my man Baka in there.
Yes, sir.
I know it's true love when we fall in love. Everything that we're planning now, our bad times and all our lives. I look up the way we shed some tears from crazy moments that we both feel. When we argue and fight at times, the realize there's more to life. That's how love grew more easy. Just know I love you in every way. You're the reason I smile each day. You always know the wrong things to say. That's why I wrote this song. Cause you reminded me where we feel like on the corner of Crown Street. Maria Gregory Isaac.
They singing it.
Hey. I know it's love when we found in love. Reminding me where you saw me on the corner of the tree. When we first kissed and found in love, and I knew you was for me. Even though many disagree, you still stuck by me. And I never loved anyone this way, my baby. I know it's true love. I know it's true love. Yes, sir. I know it's true love. When we fell in love, I know it's true love. I know it's true love. I know it's true love.
Let's go.
Hey, you heard it here first, literally. 12 of
Right
you.
on.
Appreciate it,
You heard
man.
it here first.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Hey,
the notification set. That's coming out Thursday, midnight, huh?
Yeah, 7 p.m. my time. So I'm not sure what time that will be. I think that would be early hours for you guys.
Oh yeah, it says February 12th, 2 a.m. This over here. All right.
hey. So I just want to know a little bit more of about was it Crown Street? Eh?
Yeah, so Crown Streets are like I grew up I grew up little backstory. I grew up around Tongans my whole life. Me and my siblings well, also in the street that I grew up in. It's actually Crown Crescent, but I use street just to avoid any like backlash or like where we grew up was a big my brothers were all like Crips, and
Mm.
yeah, they were deeply involved in the gang life. So uh, yeah, I grew up in Crown Cres. Everyone back in Auckland, New Zealand, know like what that street is and what it's about. And yeah, we grew up in that place, like in a place where it was like real ghetto and where we had nothing. We had love, man, and yeah, I'm still grateful for that. A lot of people actually don't know too. My mom, she's not actually Tongan, but did most of her high school years, her schooling in Tonga, and so she speaks fluent Tongan. And yeah, so that's
Right on.
that's another surprise to a lot of people when they
Yeah, yeah,
hear
yeah.
my mom and they're like, "Hey, are you Tongan?" And I'm like, "No." So I had to tell the story about like how mom spent most of her time her schooling in Tonga and where she learned the
Well, high
language.
school.
I'm not actually sure. I gotta ask mom. I gotta ask mom.
Oh, you know the high school? That's big in Tonga.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
with the high
Yeah,
school
she'll
that
tell
they
us
go to.
stories. Yeah, she'll tell us stories, and I've yeah, when I was actually thinking about when I went out there for the first time, I actually wanted to revisit where she lived and stuff. But I'll definitely do that next time I visit Tonga, which is looking like real soon. But we'll be back in Tonga, so
Stream it, dude, so we can watch that mug. That'd be tight.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely I will,
Yeah.
man. I will.
Right on.
I have a question for you. Is I feel like music is big everywhere, but I've noticed there's so many like actual musicians in Australia and New Zealand. Like there's a lot here in the States too, but I'm actually talking about musicians that actually play an instrument or
Oh yeah,
instruments, right? Um, Coming out of Australia and New Zealand, there's a lot. Like Ethu's recent tour he did in America, he had his bass player was from I think New Zealand. The drummers,
the
Smack
guitars.
drummer, the
Yeah,
drummer Smack,
those are his cousins. They're from yeah.
and then the keyboard guy was a big Samoan dude, really really good on the keyboard, like
Yep.
and it's like I noticed that there's a lot like there's a lot of artists here in the States that actually perform and sing, but there's a lot of musicians, Polynesian musicians, that are great at playing an instrument.
Mm,
They come out of New Zealand and Australia. For
right.
example, like Joe Malafu, like bro, been on some of the biggest stages drumming for the biggest crowds. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like
sir.
that type of a musician, and these guys that came with Etu, like I seen them, they tour with like Lab, and they play for like these bigger artists, like these more like these mainstream artists that are worldwide. I was like,
Yep.
dang, that's crazy.
Yep.
But
Um,
is that a big influence like in Australia and New Zealand? Is that like are you like encouraged to play music, or is that more of a thing like, hey, I just want to pick up the guitar and learn, or the drums, or the bass?
right. I think like it goes back to what I was saying, how like Australia, New Zealand, mostly New Zealand, because I grew up in New Zealand most of my life. Like my young days and born and raised there, and uh back in New Zealand, well during my time, uh you were either doing sports or you were doing music, and
Mm,
because it's such a small place, the chances of you learning to play an instrument is very high because you're you're bound to be around someone that plays instruments or loves to sing. So and even play rugby. So like it's a big thing in New Zealand in terms of like music and sports. But like the whole the whole thing with Eto, like his cousins that actually play for him when he came to New Zealand, that they're from a band called Village 90, and but they're jam musicians. They play for anyone as well. They get hired to play for anyone, and they also play for myself as well when I'm in New Zealand. And then if you see right now, there's like boys that are playing for Bug. Lonnie, who's on the bass, he's playing bass for Bug right now. Also Squeezy, who's BV for J Bug right now on tour and stuff. So they've been taking a lot of boys from New Zealand to play for a lot of the a lot of guys in the States. But also with Fees, when Fees used to come all the time, and Spawn Breezy, they would come and they would use the boys from the Levites all the time. Or um I forget what they're called from Wellington. I forgot those names from Wellington, but yeah, there's just something like I remember them mentioning it too, when we're just like in backstage and stuff, and why they love having the boys from New Zealand play for them and stuff. It's just yeah, it's a beautiful thing though, man, because like
Like even sorry to cut you off. Even as you see, like Johnny Sweet was in New Zealand
yes
when
sir, yo,
they're all sitting in that room on the ground.
yeah,
Like
that's the
some
Village
of
90 boys.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so like it was those guys that were playing with Etu, right? But it's like there's I see so much more actual musicians, meaning like you play the saxophone, the trumpet out
Mm,
in New Zealand and Australia versus in America. In America, you got some drummers and guitarists and stuff like that, but you don't see it as much. You see most of the people in America are the artists themselves that are singing
yeah,
performing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
I must say too, it's also big in the schools, like especially in high schools. I'm not too sure if it's still happening now. I'm pretty sure it is. I saw a video of it last year actually, where schools will form a band and then they'll battle it out. They'll have like three songs, and then they'll try and get through to the next round, and these are like high school students, like reading music and stuff. And yeah, and even choir battles, like they have like high school choir battles. And you even seen like the big thing, I think the main thing in New Zealand is how much they respect the Māori culture, the actual people of the lands, like it's taught within the schools. And a lot of us polys, we love it. Like we actually like we enjoy like learning the culture and stuff. And from that, we also like we're able to embrace our culture at the same time from it. And I think that's the cool part about growing up in New Zealand, is the schools, they teach the Māori language. And a lot of us get to learn the Māori language and learn about their culture. And it reminds us too about how important it is for us to embrace our culture at the same time. And then obviously in churches and stuff, like because New Zealand is such a small place, like I was saying, the chances of you like mingling or being friends with someone that plays five instruments is very high. It's
Yeah.
like it's a thing back at home.
That's a really good point he brought up, and I think I have a different perspective of it because I see a lot of like you told me that you could go to New Zealand, you just pick up probably some pickup guys to play a band for you, if you needed to. But there was a renaissance like that here in America back in the 70s, 80s, and a little bit into the 90s, where that's where the Hawaiian music started to really shine. Fiji came up at the beginning of the 90s, and I think
Yep.
we've kind of here in America we've kind of moved from the like the grassroots of making music and just this beauty of like just sitting around and making music to kind of, as you can see, a lot of us are really trying to get into like the songwriting, producing part of it. But I think um, New Zealand has like a explosion of artists that are just I mean, you see YouTube videos and there's just amazing talent everywhere, and in Australia. And so that's what I see. You can let me know if you see something different, but you know, I think there's just an ebb and flow of things that happen, and we're just at a different time frame than what's going on in New Zealand.
Well,
Mm,
when you said sports and music, it makes sense, right? Because if you look at Jordan Mailata, right, he's a footy guy. Now he's an NFL guy, right? But he also sings and he also plays the instrument, guitar, and he can probably play other instruments. So like that goes to like for what you're saying, that speaks truth, so much truth into that. See it in people that come from New Zealand or Australia and that are in America, now playing
mm.
sports or whatever the case is.
Yeah,
And
that
and
guy
that's
could sing. Have you heard him sing? That guy could sing, man.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's one of the
oh,
good usos, man. And shout out most to Jordan Mailata, man. Yeah, he's
yeah,
yeah, the good uso, man. He was a beast of a rugby player too at one point.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He has a
As
great
well.
story. I love when I
Yeah.
saw that story. That's an amazing story, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually met Jordan. Yeah, there was a brand here called Johnny Big where they were making big clothes for big guys, and um, me. I don't know if you guys know Eddie, who's a strongman as well. Someone,
oh yeah, yeah. He
yeah,
does a lot
Eddie,
of videos with
where he's
what is
singing
his
as
name?
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
and he was on Australia's Got Talent where he was lifting heavy and he was
Oh yeah,
singing
yeah, yeah,
Ordinary
yeah.
People.
I remember that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, so Eddie's our family to me. But when this clothing brand came out, they reached out to myself, Jordan, Eddie, and then Tai Tuivasa, who's the UFC fighter. And so we would like we I first connected with Jordan there. Like we rock up to the space, and I didn't know he was gonna be there, and but they were the boys that were there, and it was pretty cool because like I got to meet these guys, and um, well, maybe out of all of us, Ty was the only one who didn't sing, but it was just it was just crazy to me, like being in the room with these two big boppers, man, and they're like people don't actually know that they could actually sing, you know. And
Yeah.
so, like seeing them in their own fields right now and what they're doing, I always pinch myself and I'll be like, man, if only people knew how much like these guys could actually sing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I noticed. 'Cause I love music from all over, and my dad played the bass, guitar, keyboard, and so I grew up around music, and I just see that that's a big difference that I see coming from born in America and seeing in Australia. And they got a lot of actual musicians that play music, but also can sing and be the main person if they needed to at the same time.
Mhm.
right, yeah.
What What do you play, Noka?
Me,
Yeah.
I just play Xbox. I play Xbox, bro. I don't play an instrument. Comes to instruments, I just let the pros and the people that do that do that. I
You,
just
you,
I'm
you got
very
some
good at
talent.
pressing play. I'm very good at pressing play and letting the sound come out of the speaker.
And they call that a percussionist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
That's still counted
Engineer.
loose.
Call that a DJ. It's called a DJ. But I see I see a common thread here between some of us. I know Inoke grew up in Anchorage, and some there's some tough areas there. It's a tough climate to grow up in. I grew up in Park Village, which is projects, and I know Sam said he grew up in like some of the rougher housing areas in New Zealand, right? You
Yep.
know, I mean the only outlier we have is Lolo grew up in Beverly Hills, but he's still family, so it's
Hey, the poor side of Beverly Hills. You know what I mean?
But I think there's something to be said about growing up in those situations that our parents were like, hey, we need to keep these kids busy doing something, if it's not sports or it's music or something, and there's a lot of credit we don't give to our parents for a lot of those things that they pushed us into. So I feel very fortunate my parents put me into music or got me into like loving music and loving writing music and loving expressing myself through music. So yeah,
Yeah,
really,
talking about sports and everything like that, and like our parents coached us for life. You know what I mean? They were life coaches. Like these things are going to be true today, true tomorrow, true forever. Be good people out there. Love
Yeah.
people out there. Serve people out there. It's crazy that in the small communities, like we learn that associating with each other, and our parents tell us, all right, this is how we behave right here. Look at this village. Look at this family. Look at how we behave and treat each other. Make sure that when you guys grow up, this is going to help you stay out of trouble and everything like that. But treat everybody this way. You know what I mean? They
yeah,
really coached us well for life. So. we were in good hands.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Are you ever think you're gonna move back to New Zealand, Sam?
Man, I was had this conversation with my brother about like a few weeks back. Where I was like talking about like if when retirement comes, man, like I went back to New Zealand one time and I went like obviously to the nice like the nicer side. Like on there's parts of New Zealand that's beautiful, man, and I only got to see it, obviously after I left New Zealand and had a bit of money to actually go back and visit parts of New Zealand that I couldn't go because of when we were living back in the day. But yeah, I'd love to go. Like, we were talking about like retiring. We just love the weather. Like, even though a lot of people complain about how it's always 4 seasons in one day, but I I I love the fact that New Zealand, like in Australia, like it's real hot and muggy most of the time. Like, and yeah, I just love the weather in New Zealand and just like the beauty of New Zealand. There's a lot of nice parts of New Zealand that I'd consider going to and moving to if I when I retire and stuff and stop everything.
So
Nice.
Right
you
on.
Hey,
you planning on moving back to GI?
The GI, maybe
Come
maybe not Glen Innes, bro.
on, man.
Yeah,
Let's
maybe not
go,
Glen
bro.
Innes.
You don't want to go and be a resident DJ at La
if they've got a
Box?
nice if they got a nicer side now, then maybe I'll consider it.
I know you used to do gigs at Le Puja, bro. Stop lying, man.
Oh no, bro. Holy wow, bro. Yeah, that's how man. Oh, bro. I got stories
That's
about that place too, yo. That place is
man.
crazy.
I heard about Le Puja, bro. Glen in GI,
Yeah,
man. Sheesh.
yo.
hey,
But
it
that's
was
funny.
crazy. I was on TikTok today, and I just came upon this guy who's on there, Chinese guy, and then he starts speaking in Tongan, and I'm like, how random is this? I just pull up this guy. He has very little followers, and I followed him, of course, and then I go through all this stuff, find out he went to Tonga High, he grew up in Tonga, and now he's
Yeah.
living in China. He's living in New Zealand, but he's visiting China, and it's almost like I want, like I've never met the guy, but for some reason, because he speaks the language, I want to be his friend, because I don't know. I don't know if you ever get
Yeah,
that feeling.
I saw a Chinese guy walk into a Faikava and he did the whole, Fetapa thing, but to the Faikao and everything in Tongan, little old Chinese guy. And I was like, dang, they've been there that long to where they're all just, out and about speaking it and everything. So, yeah, they've been there a while. My
Then,
cousin told me
then
that they all out there speaking and everything. Little Chinese guy
yeah,
just
bro. When I
speaking
was
Tongan.
when I was in Tonga and when I went to school there, a lot of the small little stores, right, in the villages, they're owned by Chinese, right?
Yeah,
And they all speak Tongan. I would walk up there and I'll say, Mikey ma, and then they'll speak Tongan back to me, right? And
Uh,
I'm like, oh snap, being from America, I'm like, how the heck you speaking Tongan, dude? How long have you been here? Like, and then there's a video that surfaced the other day of this couple going to sell this Chinese store, this Chinese owner in Tonga, a tangai of kava, right? They were selling him the kava, so he gets the tangai and he's going through it and he's taking the kilos out one by one and he gets about 8 of them out and you can see clearly on his surveillance video that it's kava, right? So then he gets under that 8 or 10 kilos that he first took out and all the rest of the bags are mahoa, they're flour. These people
dang.
tried to scam him, right?
wow.
And so he's kapeting them. He's talking to them in Tongan. Hey, oh mo ka, oh mahoa aeni. It's not kava. And the guy's outside of the little gate because you in the store, and then how they have the bars, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, you can tell the guy's kaka, and he's like looking like confused. He's like, Ikai, Ikai ko cover out. I picked it up from someone else. That's not my cover. Give it back and we'll go get the money and we'll give you the right cover. And he said, the Chinese guy, Ikai tota polisi. And he got his phone and he called the police. He said, Molere Mikey Henny, ko kita makonia ko kakao, hangayo fakata mawa magao. And he was just talking and talking. I'm like, oh snap, y'all fools just trying to trick this guy, bro. Like but I'm watching it, I'm like, sheesh, dude. That was funny, bro. I'm
Yeah,
like, what?
that this TikTok guy that I saw that I stumbled on of this Chinese kid. He looks like he's probably 19 or something. He said, "Hey, I got a song for you." And so he starts singing this Tongan song. And in the Tongan song, he's like, "Osifai kava, fokigiapi, o
Mm.
nofui kava, tukua kai mea kovi." I was like, "What the heck?" You know, he's singing about the whole thing that's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, how did I stumble onto this guy? And then he speaks Tongan and he's talking about what's going on, current affairs in the Faikava world. So
Right.
yeah,
Well, I heard it's like that in Samoa. There's a lot of Koreans in Samoa, right?
There's a lot of Chinese. There's a lot of Chinese.
Chinese too.
No, yeah, they have like a lot of mini stores and stuff going and stuff, in Samoa.
yeah.
So they speak
In
the language too
Tutuila,
and everything, huh?
They
yeah,
speak fluent Samoan as well.
yeah. In
Oh,
Yeah,
Tutuila,
that's crazy.
a lot of them just consider each other, because they speak Samoan, and they joke around. Everything's they consider them Samoan. They don't treat
yeah,
Right.
them like they're something else. And I think there's a beauty to that. I love that.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Until
Yeah, I
you,
still buzz out at that. Like when I go back to Samoa, like even just recently, I went there right before Christmas that just passed, and walking into a store and like into a store and they're talking to you in Samoan is just like
wow,
I'm just and my elder sister, we were just like we had a moment the first time we experienced it. I think it was a day after we arrived, and we went into one of the local stores around from the house, and it was full speaking to us saying, "Oh," he was basically saying, "Oh, you guys just traveled in and stuff," and we're replying back to him. But as we walked out, my sister was like, "Did you not find that weird?" I started laughing.
Yeah, they know that when you're not from there, they know you're a tourist, right? Or you're
Yeah,
from
yeah, they even knew. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah, he's
saying.
like, yeah, I'm from here. Where you from?
Yeah. Like, yeah, just
That's
visiting
funny.
my home.
yeah. And a lot of those guys
Uh,
feel like, hey, that's the only home they know. So what are you talking about? This is my home.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
I love it.
But you know what also was intriguing to me, I didn't know when I went to Tonga, right? There's a village called Lomaiviti. I had no clue that that is from Fiji
Yeah.
until
Hmm.
I
mm,
until I was told like that village, those people came from Fiji and they established and that's that
Yeah.
village's name
Right next to
Lomaiviti,
Tokobololo. It's right
you
next
know.
to Tokobololo.
Eh,
yeah,
yeah,
the Togomo guys
so
go fight out there sometimes.
my dad's younger brother is married to someone from Loma Viti. So we always,
Yeah.
that's where we would go to do our farming there, right? Because her
Mm.
farm was there.
Oh, okay.
But I never realized that until I was in Tonga and they were telling me, like, that's where, like, that's a Fijian village. That's where a lot of the Fijians
Yeah.
came and went to. And that's why the name of that village.
So I have a quick question, Sam. I know you got I've heard you have a lot of songs that you're going to choose from which one's going to make the cut for this album coming up. Could you kind of like explain to us how you know how you set up, or do you have a certain way of setting up what's first, what's last, what's how you set up your music? Because I know me, I try to find the best music and I try to spread it throughout the album so that there's some excitement. If people want some fast songs, slow songs. Do you have a specific way you plan on making it? And then if you could just let us know if any of my music is going to make the lineup, I'd love to know. I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I used to have like a thing where I used to like pan it out and kind of like say what this song's gonna be first or this song's gonna make the cut and whatnot. And I'm not doing that this time around. It's just like whatever I'm feeling, and 100%, brother. Like you already know, like you know the songs that I've already been working on that I definitely want a part of this album because it's just everything that I've been planning on this album is everything that from the songs that you sent through that we've worked on to this moment has been has spoken a part of my experience and my life. So it's definitely something, like I know we have a laugh about it, like for instance, like Suka, right? Like the whole situation, the story behind it. But I also have experienced that and during that storm, you know what I mean? And I was like, you know what I mean? Like I can't wait, like I was saying to you, I can't wait to share with people like not only just the song, but like, like who wrote the song and like behind it. And I think it's important too now as well um to I think it's always been important. It just hasn't been a thing, but to give people their flowers, bro, and like let people know, like, you know, like where the music came from and all that. And I feel like just anything in general that you you know, you put out into the world. And so this time around, like with the whole songs, like the choices of songs that I'm putting on is just, I think lately I've been leaning a lot towards the songs of explaining why I've been missing and
Mm.
and my situation. So like I said, I got a catalog of over 1,400 songs from the last 6 years, and you know, I've actually like given some of these songs for other artists to voice, which I'm excited to hear in the next month. And yeah, bro, there's no really structure for it. I'm just, like I was saying to you, bro, like I don't even know how many songs I'm gonna put on. Like it could go over 24. Like, yeah, bro, like I just really wanna um tell my story, and you know, in hopes to help someone.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear, like this song. I love this song that you just played, but I'm excited to see what the lineup's going to look like and,
Yeah.
how the flow's going to
Yeah.
be like.
Yeah. I think once I figure out like all the songs that are gonna be on the album, then we'll place them in a place where like people could listen to it from start to finish, where
Yeah.
it actually also tells the story. Because that's my main thing on this, is just it's just telling the story of thing. And so everything's got to make sense for me, in a sense where like I have to be honest with myself. Because before, when I was releasing music, these are all songs that I know if I had released it back in the days, music could have been a little bit different for me. Like
Right.
you know what I mean? I could like, things would have taken off a lot crazier than it had back then. But I held back on it because obviously, like the story I told you is about like when I was going through my storm. A lot of that stuff was written during that time, and you know, like I was saying, part of healing has been to voice these and share them to the world.
Yeah. No, man, it's good stuff.
Right
So
on. Right on.
So I have a question for everyone. What would be like your biggest like memory or fondest memory of music, whether it be like your favorite artist or an encounter with a musician? Like, what is like your biggest? It could be something personal for you as an artist or whatever. Like, what is your biggest memory when it comes to like music?
mm,
Mm.
And I'll start off. So my dad's growing up. My dad's a musician, Faikava guy, played in a band. And so there's two of my favorite. Um, the Poleo family is a real big family in Tonga, and I was able to when I was in Tonga, Foni Poleo brought Oyaba to Tonga, and they performed there. So to have Oyaba, like a big reggae international reggae band, to come to Tonga and perform, like that was huge for me. Like to see like how this, they have this word in Tongan, and it's called piliote, right? And it means period, and with the small little dot on the map. So to get a group like Oyaba to come to this small
Mm.
little place on Earth that you could barely see on the map until you zoom in, like was huge. It was like, dang. And I was there to witness. We were able to go there because my classmates were the Poleo family, and so they were able to get us in, and we had like VIP treatment. So like that to me was one of my most favorite moments or biggest moments, like around music. And just experiencing that type of stuff as a young kid in Tonga going to school, it's like, holy, I wish I was there when Lucky Dube went there. You know what I mean? That'd have been big. But that like that's one of the moments for me where it's like, man, I can't imagine like having this kind of a group come there, and it's such a small island, and like a lot of people don't even have money, but then everybody was there to be at that concert and enjoy the music.
yeah.
Mm.
I think I've never been a fanatic about people. I love the music, and I like to meet people, but I was really grateful for the opportunity. We grew up in Compton, California, in the Park Village, in some lowly housing, and my mom happens to be related to the Jets, their mom, and so we went to see them perform at a county fair. And afterwards, we met up with them, and my mom, she met up with the mom, and invited them over the house. And so these guys who were at the time who were like the pinnacle of what the music at that those that year or whatever era that they were really popular. These guys come into our little humble home in the projects and sat there, and they just acted like we were family that just met. We were in a family reunion, and they sat and they ate the food, and they didn't act like they were any better than us. And I felt like I think it taught me a lesson that day that sometimes a lot of people, or there are many people who probably don't let the fame get to their head, and I appreciate that. And that's probably my one experience with somebody who's really popular coming to our house like that.
So my bad. Yeah, I think my one was just uh just being recognized by like Big Brother Fiji, and because obviously a lot of us we looked up to him a lot, and yeah, I think that was one of spent a bit of time with him on tour and stuff, and got to what I mean, like learn a lot about who he was personally, and also just yeah, just to be able to like share a meal and share like just times on tour and stuff, and actually get to know him, and like him knowing like my music was kind of like for me was yeah was kind of like a moment we made a moment sort of thing, and because we really like look up to him and grew up on his music in our household like basically my whole life and stuff. And yeah, it was pretty cool moment, and being able to FaceTime my parents and tell them and share that experience with them was everything, because like they couldn't even believe it that I was like that I was on tour with him, and that. And actually I didn't share that too when I went on tour with him. Like I kind of kept it quiet like with my family, and then the flyer comes up, and then they see that we're traveling right through the whole South Pacific and that. And then I was on tour with him, Book, Coming Kings, and Spawn Breezy, and that lineup itself, like to be a part of that was huge for me. And yeah, that's probably one of the best and most memorable moments in music for me.
Hey, Mr. Universal.
Man, I don't have stories like you guys. That's you know. I grew up harmonizing with my brother. So me, my mom, and my dad used to sing church. Was in a band in high school. So when my uncle played at churches, dances, and bars sometimes, and whatever. But the as far as music is concerned, and I've been to like reggae concerts, and it's a pleasure to meet everybody and whatnot. But to be able to use the talent, um, we played at a kava bar. That's what I considered uh, the highlight of music for me. I love music, and I love being a part of it and whatnot. But to be able to play in a kava bar for a bunch of kava drinkers, me, Leka, and Unga used to sing for Kontiki, and my brother is with Legit, and they're just local bands or whatever. But to be able to use music for just you know when I look at the groups that I've ever been a part of or the places I ever sing at, to me it was the Kava guys. So to be able to use it to sing for the Kava guys and perform for them, I felt like what I mean. I felt like I was the big headliner at a concert. I felt like Samuels, you know what I mean, with Fiji and stuff. You know what I mean? But just to sing just in front of a bunch of freaking kava drinkers, that was it for me. That's the highlight for me. But um, you know, so that's my big thing for music.
It's crazy you bring that up. You know, Fiji was involved in so many Fiji,
Your mic.
oh, can you hear me?
It's going in and out.
Oh,
That's what she said.
guy, man. Can't believe.
My bad. I couldn't freaking control myself.
Oh man. I thought.
You guys hear me? Hello?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because Lolo said the kava, right? Because Lolo's a kava guy. I drink kava. Kava's really big in my life, and Fiji was a kava drinker, and he went to a lot of fight kavas, and he met a lot of people through those fight kavas, right? And so that's the and we've met a lot of people, and that's the greatest gift about like the gift that kava gives to us because we've been in circles that we meet all these artists that people are looking at these artists as they're like a superstar, but when they're in the mix they're just it's just that brotherhood and
Right,
Mm.
everyone is
right.
the same. And no matter if you're Fiji or Spawn Breezy, I am going to tell you a joke and talk shit about you because you're my brother in this circle. And it
Right.
was
Right.
never and it was never the mindset of I'm bigger than you or you're
Mm.
smaller than me because I'm this guy outside of the fight kava, right? It's once you're in that circle, we are all equal. We are going to take shots at each other and we're going to talk and we're going to banter as if we all grew up together and we all been brothers for 50 years. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I feel like that's a great part of Fight Cover that a lot of people don't see. Like you see Spawn Breezy, J Strings, these guys, they're all part of they go into these
They're
communities.
color guys.
If they travel to Utah, they're trying to find a Fight Cover after their show. And they're not charging people to have them at the mix. They just show up because that's what Fight Cover is, right?
Mm.
And it goes for a lot of musicians. They go and mix everywhere and whatever. Three houses down, stay Fight Cover a lot. And when I'm pretty sure in those mixes there, they're not treated any much more different than anyone else in that circle, right? And so that's the beauty of like Fight Cover. I was able to Fight Cover with Ulisse and some of the older Tongan guys that were like considered legends in our time in the Tongan community, and they came there and they sat down and they had a conversation with everybody, and they weren't any better. And that to me is like I'm very proud to say that I partake in kava because of those types of things that happen around the kava circle.
Right.
Yeah, that's funny you say that because yeah, that's true. I remember when we were in Salt Lake, Josh Tofi came and performed, and he came to a mix after, and sang with Unga and whatnot. Like a lot of those guys, Junior Miley and the Fijian twins, and yeah, Spawn Breezy's over here in Independence, and we, mix with them. That's true. The Kama ends up being the green room after the performance. They come and perform there,
Yeah.
not expecting anything, right? They're doing it for free and for their own enjoyment. They're that when they come to the mix, they do it. That's when they sing for themselves, for us, right?
Yep.
But when they perform, they got to perform, right? But yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that. That's true in a whole lot
Hey,
of
so
ways.
real quick, we're creeping on up to about 2 hours now. Wanted to ask Sam, how are we looking for time? Are you pressed to go and do anything? Just let us know. We can
I'm
close
good.
it
I'm
up.
just teaching boxing this afternoon, but that's about it, bro.
Okay.
I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, I just want to bring up something real quick. As a subject, I, you know, I'm a huge fan of Lucky Dubé, and a lot of people don't realize that he was one of the pioneers of the African style of music. Afro beats. He was a big proponent of that, and I think the beauty of that is it created uh, identity that everyone could kind of like look towards to make this African style of genre. And I think I think there's something missing in the Polynesian world where there needs to be a solid genre that we can point towards to say that's ours, so that because we all know some people say, oh, that's just reggae, or that's just music that's stolen from somewhere else, but there is a specific sound to Polynesian music that we can point at. But I don't know. What do you think about that, Sam? Do you think that that's a possibility, or do you think that's just a wishful thinking?
Yeah, no, 100%, bro. Definitely a possibility. I think it's definitely something that needs to happen because like I feel like over the years, and this is not to take away from just like reggae in general, but or anything like that, but I feel like over the years we've like really pushed this whole island reggae. But if you really listen to that, like a lot of artists in that, there's we have our own sound, and
Yeah.
um even though it might sound like it's inspired from certain genres and whatnot, but we would have that conversation all day if we're gonna speak about where the music is inspired from. Because you look at um where R&B's at right now, it's inspired from like Afro as well, and certain sounds. So you can't just necessarily say it's R&B then if we're talking about like what genre it is.
Right.
But obviously, when they, when the big names put it up, it's just gonna be R&B, and people just accept it because it's the big names, So, yeah, man, I definitely feel like, Poly have their own sound, man. Like even just like the Polynesians, not even just the Polynesians, but also if you guys been watching on like the Melanesians as well, like the likes of the Solomon Islands, um, Fiji. Like there's a lot of artists that are coming out of these places, PNG, that have their own sound, and I could easily listen to a sound and know that it's not reggae, it's
Yeah.
Melanesian music. You know what I mean? And I listen to like the poly sounds as well, and I'll hear someone like uh the brother Victor J. Sifel, and just bro, that's a whole different sound as well. And you listen to someone like Shonetoki as well, who I've been a big fan of for years. That's a whole different sound as well. So to say that a specific sound or whatever they want to consider us as, what category is inspired from just reggae itself, I would have to disagree on it. Like,
Yeah.
I'd I'd have to, because we have our own sound, and I've felt that for years, bro. But I feel like no one's really kind of like kind of spoke on it or stepped down and be like,
Yeah.
man, don't you think we should have our own genre since we've been having our own sound? But yeah, each to
Yeah.
their own. Eh?
Yeah, we had this. I don't know if you remember. We had this conversation where I'm trying to push this idea of poly beats or motulali. I like that because all the islands call themselves motu, or and the lali is a drum. There, I think once there's this title that everyone can point towards, then I think there's going to be a bigger there's going to be a bigger congregation of everybody kind of creating this great group, because Afro beats has just blown up in the last 7 or 8 years, and
Yeah,
good for those guys, because I love their sound. But we do have our specific sound that you listen to Joss Satofi, or even the song we just played of yours right now. You can't say that's reggae, but you can't say it's R&B. It's
yeah,
something in of itself that makes
yep,
it Polynesian, I think.
yep,
And so, if you remember the Jawaiian, the quote unquote Jawaiian reggae movement, right? A lot
Mm,
of people, if you look into it and do some research, a lot of the artists didn't like the word Jawaiian, right? Because it was trying to tie them like Jamaican and Hawaiian into one. And they had that same argument, like this is our own, like a lot of the artists that when I watch like these old videos of them being asked questions about it, they're like, we have our own sound, comes from Hawaiian, and we shouldn't call it like Hawaiian music. We should,
yeah,
it's inspired by ourselves, and we have our own certain way. Yeah, we might have gotten like some of the inspiration from Jamaican reggae or Afro reggae, however, but we made it into our own thing, right? So um, that's why a lot of these artists back in the days they were like, when you consider me an artist, don't say that I'm a Hawaiian reggae artist, because that's not
mhm.
what we want to be labeled as.
yeah. Yeah. So let's make a name. I mean, you're coming out with the album. Make a name, and it's just go. I mean, if no one else is making something, you're.
I've actually been considering like the genre that I'm gonna like I've been thinking of that exactly, like, because I didn't
Yeah.
want to put the because obviously the album is going to show a lot of my versatility as well, and obviously with all the different sounds and that's used and the lyricism as well. But yeah, I definitely don't want to just be put under the umbrella of reggae,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
because that's how everyone's been viewing us over the years, as a reggae artist. Or um but I actually thought as well, bro, like at one point, like how the actual people, they, like, obviously we know that the Jamaicans are like the ones that like own the reggae genre. Like I also thought about like how they would think about us being called reggae artists and stuff, like I'm pretty sure that I don't know, but I'm just speaking out of my, my thoughts of what I think. And
Well, if we're talking technically, reggae is the music of the Haitian people, and ska is
right,
the music of the
yeah,
Jamaicans. Technically. So, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But like just how they, they obviously they were kind of like the ones that took it to the world sort of thing. And
right, right.
I don't know whether they like feel some type of way where they're like, they watch on and they see us polys being called like reggae artists and stuff. And like it's like the whole controversial thing at the moment with the whole bitter, the Samoan bitter, and people doing like certain things, and people are feeling like, the Samoans are feeling some type of way. But then there's people talking about like, oh, there's history behind it and all that. And although I don't get into it, but that's my kind of like my thought process about like being called a reggae artist. Do they feel some type of way? So
Right.
over the years, I've actually thought that for a few years, bro. Like being called a reggae artist, whether they feel some type of way. And yeah, but yeah, I definitely would like to like consider it, putting a stamp to like our sound
Pauly Beats,
and
not
and,
just
and, gen- and genre. Yeah, definitely.
yeah. I think that'd be a great thing for the movement of the music.
Yeah,
Hmm.
So
and it also gives us a like a something to embrace as well and be proud of as well. Being people that are like that love music, and like like just all our ancestors and stuff from who have been before us with the whole music thing. Like,
yeah,
yeah, that's definitely a great idea, bro. Like, I'm definitely with that idea of
yeah.
come creating our own genre.
Will we be seeing Samuel's tour coming back here to the States?
Yeah, 100%. It's already in talks, man. There's already a lot of people that are in contact about the wanting to know when the album drops and stuff like that. But uh bro, before I left, there's a lot of people that I need to make kind of just kind of make peace with, in terms of how I just kind of left the scene. And there was a lot of people that was like rocking with me and riding for me and had so much planned, like with touring and stuff. And kind of I disappeared and kind of just come back now, and like they still in contact and stuff. So there's a lot of apologies that I need to get free as well. And but we'll definitely be out of the States. I just, my main focus is just like I want the album to be exactly what I set it out to be. And
Yeah,
it has that first for me is a priority, to make sure that when I go on tour that it all makes sense in a
yeah,
sense. And I, like back in the days, I remember a lot of people were just touring for the sake of touring and making money. And in my case, like that's not really my thing right now with music. And a lot of people like is because a lot of people ask like what I do outside of music. And then um that's why like when I went away from TikTok and that, everyone thought like that's where I was making income and all that. But I like I'm also a proud business owner and entrepreneur outside of music and stuff and what I do. And um the whole music thing is like, yeah, I don't want to look at touring and stuff as a, just a place to be like touring and making money. Like I want to tour knowing that the album and the piece that I put out for the world is gonna is gonna be played for generations to come. And that's my aim on this album. And this will be my first ever full album. Like I've only released EPs, so
really.
I gotta make a, really want to make a statement on this album before
All right.
touring and stuff.
32 song album coming up.
Man, like I'm not even putting that idea away, man. There could possibly be, two sided. We're gonna go back to the old school, and I really want to go back to the old school way of putting out music as well. When you like, I want to have proper CDs, and like I know it's not a thing anymore, but like I want to create like a two-sided album, because I never got to do that during my time when it was a thing. And kind of like I'll probably just create like 100 copies and just give it out to 100 lucky people, and just something to look back at and
Nice.
be proud of.
Yeah, that's
Something
nice.
like
Wow.
nostalgic and a souvenir type deal.
Yup. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Michael Jackson's Thriller was what, 18 songs, something like that. You got
Yeah,
like eight
yeah,
or nine
yeah.
songs each side, you know. So it's not a, it's you know, not something
To be honest, I've
completely.
been aiming for 24th. I was born on the 24th of Jan, so I've been aiming for 24 songs and
Oh,
have like
okay.
a 12-sided album. And
There
I
you
just
go.
basically like
Ah,
I want the whole thing to be a storytelling of like what like it. I want it to be meaningful, and also the time that I'm releasing it to is my dad's 70th birthday, and um yeah, so I got
mm,
like I've applied the pressure like on myself and um yeah, bro, that's why I just literally being on the go. But I appreciate like just this platform itself, bro. Like you guys giving me this platform and just be able to chill. Like I appreciate like just these conversations itself because it's it's part of it's been part of healing for me, bro. To be able to voice whether it's a small platform, a big platform, just having these conversations alone is and being around like uh, brothers like you guys who are not only in your own fields and what you are doing, but have time to like literally chop it up and so just talk real life. You know what I mean? Because we need more of that.
right, right.
There's not enough. There's not enough of that happening, and sometimes we often wonder why we end up doing like things that we shouldn't be doing, and that is because we don't have enough of these conversations. And these are things that need to happen more often.
Yeah, yeah. So look. I feel like we're kind of winding down, but before any of that happens, I want to make sure that we say tomorrow you have a single coming out, and are you going to be like kind of like
I'll be
spreading it?
streaming it. Yeah, I'll be streaming it on all platforms like
Okay.
Twitch, Kick, and TikTok, and yeah, gonna show the premiere with everyone. Watch the premiere with everyone that'll be on the live and stuff. So
Yeah,
I
but
think
in
yep. Go ahead, bro.
but in I know in June, in with alongside with some stuff that's happening with your dad, you're going to do the bigger album release, right? And so
Yep.
are you going to be sharing some music in between from now and then, or is this the just kind of like the starting
Yep.
point, and then that's going to be when the rest is going to be released?
Yeah. So I apply the pressure on myself as well, and I've like I said, I've got like a blackboard where I've jotted everything down, and I want to drop 6 singles. So as soon as I'm done with the single, I'm about to announce the next one straight away, which is Suka, and yeah, we
Salty
just
Suka.
just just straight foot on the gas, bro.
There
Like yeah, six singles,
you
and
go.
then uh basically all the singles that I'm releasing will be basically the storyteller leading up to the album as well. So, and I'll let people know that on that sixth release why I chose to do it the way I did it. And yeah, I just want to story tell, man. I just want to tell my story. And this is taking 6 years in the making, but yeah, man, I just felt it, bro. Like I also want to say as well, I had an encounter with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and I'm a newborn Christian as well, and just coming back to my faith and practicing my faith again as well. Is like I'd be lying to say it that all this has been just all me and like what I've been doing and who I've been surrounded by. But like if it like I thank God for the knowledge and also the confidence to come back out and not only be myself again but realize my purpose. And yeah, I just want to acknowledge God mostly in everything that I've talked about today, because he's basically the one that's ordered my steps to be here today, and I'm grateful for that,
Amen. Amen, man.
Amen, brother. Right
Yeah,
Hallelujah.
on.
yeah. So just
Right
to let you
on.
know, all three of us we're LDS, and I know your dad grew up in the LDS world, but
man. Yep.
now you guys are AOG, right?
Yeah, Assemblies of God. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Right
hey,
on.
we all believe in Christ, and we all
That's right,
we
brother.
live we live a beautiful life from the Polynesian culture, and the life of Christ and His gospel. They go hand in hand, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And we appreciate your testimony and how I see you seem to always share it with me. But if I could just share real quick how I met you, uh, appreciate about 3 or 4 weeks ago, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was just going through trying to like push my music, trying to like share it, and I just came across Sammy's. He was doing a live on TikTok, and I went in the comments and I said, "Hey, um, are you taking any requests?" And I could see the hesitant in his face, like, I don't normally do this till Wednesday, but yeah, I'll take your song. Just send it to the email. And I sent it to the email, and then you know, uh, I was so fortunate that he liked my music and he was willing to share more of it, and that kind of started this conversation that we're still having about how much we love music and how much you know we can help each other create this new genre of Polynesian music that can spread to the world. So and if I missed anything, Sammy, that forgive me. I'm just trying to like give the you know the bigger portions of when we met.
Are
So
you gonna spread it to the world like a germ or a disease or what?
like the gospel, you freaking
Mhm.
only somebody in Las Vegas would say something like that.
Well, sorry, I just didn't know if I needed hand sanitizer or what. When you come around, just
Yeah,
making sure, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
okay, so I have
Right
one
on.
question. Sammy, I appreciate you, man. Great to meet you. It's a pleasure. Just very humble guy. And we started this as us three because we just like to just talk stories and have that conversation. And like you said, it as men, I feel like as men, we need to have more of these types of conversations, whether it's in private or on a podcast, right? Because it just lets us be genuine, lets us be ourselves. And a lot of times, too many people are on these social media platforms, and they're painting this picture of something they're really not, or doing it for entertainment purposes, and it's not real genuine, right? And so that's what also I talk about kava a lot because kava is very, very huge in my life. Like I believe in kava. I love kava. What it's done for me, my family, my father, my ancestors, all of that. And it's the same kind of conversations when you have a long week of work. And you go hang out with your homies at the Faikava or your Kalapu. It's just somewhere where you can unwind and be yourself and let loose and have these conversations and laughters and jokes and even sometimes cry and it's just those are the types of things. Those are the types of things there where we can heal, and as men we can just be us and
Right.
and and show our vulnerability or whatever the case may be, and then we'll go back home to our real situation and deal with life how we deal with life. You know what I mean? Um,
Mm.
but it's a pleasure to hear you and always listen to your music. And I have one question. What would you say to the younger generation that is kind of doubting themselves, whether it's music or anything in life, because we've all struggled through
Hmm.
different things. Like, what would you say to the younger generation if they have an idea, if they have a thought that they want to do, but people are trying to like drag them down as people normally try to do? Like, what is your advice to the younger generation, the youth of the youth that we have currently?
Right. I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier about and I'm big on this, like, no matter what you do, you're always gonna be judged. Whether you do good, whether you do bad, you're always gonna be judged. Same goes for your ideas. You might have an idea, but it's not something that resonates with someone or people don't agree with it, but that's okay because your journey, your path alone and what you set out for yourself, you cannot expect others to understand it. But that's the part where you have to believe in yourself first. And I think if it's one thing that I learned was believing in myself first. Um, when you believe in yourself first, you start to practice things like that where you start to understand and master the the fact that no matter what you do, people are always gonna judge you. So do it anyway. You know what I mean? So whether it be sports, music, whatever field it is that you're doing, just do it wholeheartedly and believe in yourself. Because I know it sounds cliche, but that's not said enough nowadays anymore. Where like a lot of youngsters start to steer off and take different avenues to try and reach their dreams and goals because it's not said enough. But yeah, just believe in yourself and just know that no matter what you do, people are always gonna judge you. But it's that's why it's important to believe in yourself. And someone said to me yesterday at boxing training, one of my fighters, you're saying, you know what I noticed, coach, is one day, like the time is ticking all the time, and I know when you said that to me one day, I realized that one day we're gonna make it, and yeah, I just want every kid that gets to watch this or any youngster that watches this, that time is ticking away. What you do with it, just know that one day you're gonna make it if you just truly believe in yourself and understand that no matter what you do, people are always gonna judge you.
Mm, yeah.
Sammy, my last question for you, and I appreciate you bringing up your faith in God and how He's helped you through the tough times and hard times, as far as that's concerned, and how we were raised with God. And I'm a big study of history and how Polynesia has always been believed in gods, right? The movie Moana may have come up, with some of the beliefs of gods that we used to believe in or whatnot. But recently, the past couple 100 years, we've come across this Jesus Christ guy and how a lot of our behaviors match this Jesus Christ person and personality. And I wanted you to kind of talk about because there's a Tongan guy out here who's the AOG pastor, one of our good friends in the college circle. His dad's part of our church, but he comes to our church and we go visit his church sometimes. But the importance of having God throughout those times, the times that you feel like you went through that was really down, and how how they say in the New Testament, if you teach them while they're young, eventually they're going to come back to it, or they'll never stray or forget it. How important that is, how God is in your life, and especially going through hard times and coming back to it as you've grown through the experience.
Yeah, I think yeah, lately I've been reading the word a lot, man, and just been getting into it. And I think one Bible verse that's really like, and I was someone that never ever practiced my faith, and I never ever like I went to church my whole life and never got onto reading the Bible and stuff. And as of recently, like this one day I picked up the word and I started reading, and I started reading it more than often. And obviously anything you practice, you get good at. And you hear Denzel Washington say that even when you practice bad things, you become good at. And yeah, the more I kept reading, I read into Jeremiah 29, verse 11, where it says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope in the future. And I think that was enough for me.
Amen.
When I read that, I realized oh, everything now where I'm coming back and all that, like, thank God that He's ordered my steps to be here, because He's basically told me, man, like, the plans that He has for me is uh is to prosper me, and not to harm me. And um yeah, it's just been a testament to me after reading that verse to know that everything that's happening right now is basically in that verse. And yeah, man, it's really like just strengthened me more each day in terms of how I go about my day, and understanding that I've been blessed for such a time as this. And I've been blessed with a purpose that, and realize what my purpose is what I do with it is my way of thanking God and the people that matter to me. So that's what's really been
Amen, brother.
helping
Amen. Yeah.
me.
You know,
Amen. We appreciate you. Honor.
you, I love the fact that we share, and like a lot of people, we share the 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 love of writing music and writing a story from our perspective. You might have a perspective of something, and I have a perspective of the same thing, but we could make two totally different, beautiful songs about that one thing. And a lot of people who've asked me about this is they would ask me, "Hey, how do you write your songs?" And I think the main thing I want to tell people is that I'm not writing a song to get to a destination. I'm writing a song so it could be part of the journey. And I read that somewhere before that we should have Jesus, our relationship in the gospel shouldn't be a destination, shouldn't be something that we're trying to get to. It should be a feature of our travels and our journey, so that it's always a part of us. Because sometimes
Mm,
we feel like we need to displace ourselves to be where Christ is. But if we know
right.
Christ is with us all the time and He's part of the journey, I think we treat our relationship a little different. And that's how I look at music. And I really respect the fact that you have a difference in the way you operate. You know, to not only Polynesians but people in general, the way you treat people, you're very respectful. And I'm grateful that not only all of us, but I've had the opportunity to have conversations with you, and maybe have a couple of songs that you're willing to sing of mine. I'm look, I'm humbled and I'm honored by the fact that that you do that. Not only because you've had music, but I know you as a good man and a good person, and I appreciate that. And I just want to say that, you know, as we close this. But you know, we'll give the final word to you, Sammy, before we close it up. But thank you so much for the opportunity, man.
No, hey, thank you guys, man. I appreciate this. Like I was saying, I appreciate these conversations and like just being and just being able to come on here and being asked to come on here and just just chop it up with you guys, man. I really do appreciate this. And like I stand on it, man. Like we need more of these conversations, and what you guys are doing is God's work, man. You guys are doing great things just by simply being yourselves and chopping it up here. Like brother Enoke mentions, like when you go on social media and there, a lot of people forced to be someone they're not from, because of the way people view them. But the fact that you guys can come in a place like this and just chop it up and just be yourself, and it really like I feel like I've known you guys for a minute just from the conversations that we've had, and I appreciate that, man. You guys have also like just empowered me, bro, like even more to when I jump off here, to know that like there's people that's not only rooting for me but believe in me, that that I've just met and stuff. So I appreciate you guys, and thank you guys for your work, man, and what you guys are doing.
Well, thank you. And I think I speak for
Oh,
these
Sammy.
guys, and they could say it too. But if you're ever in Florida, you always have a roof to sleep under, and you're always
Appreciate
willing
it
to.
also.
We have a home for you here. So
Definitely, man.
All
I
right,
appreciate
guys.
that.
Always a pleasure.
Likewise.
Absolutely.
Off us, and I love us. And we'll see you on the next one.
help us
All
and
right.
love us, man. All
Hello,
right,
Sammy.
thanks for chopping it up.
My
Yes,
love.
sir.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna end the stream here.